Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Barakatah to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemar Lathabah Shem Yahushua to all the sisters. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Yohana. And what we teach is that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel according to the Bible. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. Go ahead and like, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. That way you can get updates on your phone every time we go live and do a class. And also too, whenever we launch our new camp videos, that way you'll be able to stay up to date and see all of the latest information from the Isupk. All right. And so with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the class. What we're gonna talk about today is we're gonna talk about what a lot of Christians believe that God's laws are done away with in the earth. Right. And what I want to tell you is that is a evil and wicked, disgusting thing that they teach in the Christian church. You understand? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it out to you today in the Bible. I'm going to show you in the Bible how proof that even in today's society, God's laws are still in full effect. You understand? The Christian church teaches that God's laws are done away with. You understand? And I'm going to show you different things in the Bible that's prove to you how evil and disgusting it is that the Christian church teaches this. Right. You understand? And also too, I don't even understand how in 2020 any black person still going to church. Right. To be honest with you. I mean, you look at the news, you know, even if you don't look at the news, like a brother was telling me just the other day, just yesterday, that his sister married a pastor, and the pastor, them somehow, some way, ended up getting his name on the deed to his wife's mother's house while the mother's still alive. Somehow he didn't got full control over his mother-in-law's whole estate. You understand? And the only thing I could tell the brother was, brother, that preacher man is about to get y'all. He about to get your whole family. You understand? Because that's what these pastors do, man. Right. You understand? These Christian pastors, you look at the news and you see almost every single month you hear about another Christian pastor that's molesting some little girl or some little boy. You understand? And it's high time for all that stuff to start coming out. You about to start hearing more and more about what's going on in this Christian church. You understand? Because black people need to start waking up to what's going on in this Christian church. The things that they teach us in that church are the very ideas that destroy black people every single day in America. You understand? And it's the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments that's going to deliver us out of this hell that we live in. You understand? The Christian church don't have the answer for black people. They don't have the answer for black on black violence. They don't have the answer for black oppression. They don't have the answer for homelessness. Right. You understand? They don't have the answer for drug addiction, homosexuality. For they don't have the answer for no problem that faces black people. You understand? But yet they sit up there every Sunday telling you what you want to hear and sitting there with their hand out, and you happily give them your money. You understand? So the Christian church is full of liars. Right. You understand? From the preacher all the way down to the usher. That building is full of liars. You understand? It's run by the worst type of snakes to ever live amongst our people. You understand? If I could, Baba Kashai, if you could give me Deuteronomy chapter 27 and 1. You understand? Deuteronomy chapter 27 and 1. You know, I was talking to a brother the other day, and we were talking about the Bible. And one thing I was telling him is he was saying that we shouldn't believe in the Bible because our oppressor gave us the Bible. And the typical conversation that you hear from a lot of black people who already understand that Christianity is an enemy to black people. You understand? But instead of just identifying Christianity and actually reading the Bible or being taught the Bible properly, they just throw everything away. So I understand, when a brother says, understand things like our oppressor gave us the Bible. You understand? But what they don't understand is that our oppressors did not give us the Bible.
Right.
Our oppressor burned our eyes out of our sockets to keep us from reading the Bible during slavery. You understand? And here's the thing. You got all these religions in the world. You got to ask yourself, okay, I asked myself this when I was a Christian, when I was, out here in the world. What religion am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be a Christian? Am I supposed to be a Catholic? Am I supposed to be a Baptist, a Buddhist, a Muslim? What religion am I supposed to be? You understand? But here's the thing. That's the wrong question to ask, because the Bible is not a religious book at all. You understand? The Bible is a history book. It's a law book, and it's a history documented of the 12 tribes of Israel by the 12 tribes of Israel. Read this scripture when you got it out.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel.
With the elders of who?
Israel.
You understand? Moses is who the Old Testament came through. You understand? If you want to talk about the beginnings of the Bible, you want to ask yourself who wrote the Bible. We're reading about the first writings of the Bible. You understand? Moses is the one who wrote down the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. You understand? Read on.
Commanded the people, saying.
He did what?
Commanded the people, saying.
You understand? He says he commanded the people, saying. You understand? He didn't. You think about the Christian. Think about the Jehovah Witness, right? Think about a Jehovah Witness. Think about the difference between what Moses is doing right now and what the Jehovah Witness do right now today. You understand? Jehovah Witness come to your door. They ring the doorbell, right, hand you the little pamphlet. It could be two old sisters with a white Jesus with a white Jesus picture. They knocking on your door, and I don't even know what they ask you, but they be like, "Have you heard of the good news?" or whatever it is they knocking on your door to say. You understand? And at the end of the day, you end up slamming your door in the sister's face. You understand? Because they 2 sisters handing you white Jesus. You understand? And you still sleep. They didn't woke you up out your sleep for this. You understand? So here's the thing. That's how religion gets spread today. Right. At one point in time, religion got spread by the sword. You understand? But this is what Moses did to transfer what the Most High told him, what he did to the people. Read it again.
And Moses with the elders of Israel.
And Moses sat down with the elders of Israel. He didn't sit down in the United Nations panel and address the whole world. You understand? He didn't sit down with Pharaoh and with whoever was the king of Moab and all those things during that time. He didn't sit down with them. You understand? Saying, "Hey y'all, this is the new religion. God talked to me. This is how it's finna go down." He didn't do that. He spoke specifically to the elders of the nation of Israel. Read on.
Commanded the people, saying.
So he commanded them. He gave them orders. He gave the children of Israel orders. Said, "This is what you're going to do." You understand? It's not what you want to do. This is what you're going to do. This he's not saying, "Could you please do this? If you would like to, could you do this?" You understand? He gave them an order. Read on.
Keep all the commandments.
Do what?
Keep all the commandments.
This is what the Most High laid down. The Most High gave Moses the law, statutes, and commandments, and made a covenant with the children of Israel. And in that covenant, he made a deal. We either keep the law and we'll prosper, or we break the law and we'll be destroyed. You understand? Give me Deuteronomy 28:1.
book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It says, if it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Read on.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
To do some of the commandments.
To do all his commandments.
Like how the Christian church, see, here's the thing. This is what Moses is telling the people. You understand? The Most High said to keep all the commandments. And he's only talking to the children of Israel. He's not talking to the Chinese man or the Arab man or the white man. Like so many black people love to ask, well, what about the white man? You understand? He's talking to the children of Israel. He's telling you that if you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, read on.
Which I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
Will do what?
Will set thee on high.
So wait a minute. So what's the point? Like what's the point in not eating pork? What's the point in not sleeping with white women?
Right.
What's the point in not being a homosexual? What's the point in not smoking weed, cigarettes, crack cocaine? What's the point in not buying prostitutes off a Backpage?
Right.
You understand? What's the point in not sleeping with your brother's woman? Here's the point. Read that last part again.
I will set thee on high.
Read on.
Above all nations.
Above who?
Above all nations.
You understand? Just like how the white man is set above all nations on the earth today. You understand? The Lord said if we kept his law, statutes, and commandments, that he was going to set us on high above every nation. You understand? Read on.
Above all nations of the earth.
You understand? Of the earth, of the whole entire earth. The Lord said if we kept that covenant, if we kept that agreement, if we kept his word, if we kept these laws, if we just chose to follow the Most High's word as opposed to trusting in a filthy, child molesting homosexual on the pulpit.
Right.
You understand? Here's the problem. Here's the deal, right? So keeping the laws is going to put us on top, right? So what happens if we break the laws? You understand? What happens if we break those laws? You understand? I remember it was a couple classes ago I broke down some of the blessings that we would get. You understand? Now we're going to go into some of the curses. You understand? Go down to, matter of fact, go to Deuteronomy 28:15, Baba Shah.
Come. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if we don't follow, listen to the Most High, read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
You understand? To do some of the commandments.
To do all his commandments.
Read on.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee.
That all these what?
Curses shall come upon thee.
You understand? See, this is where Christians got the Bible effed up.
Right.
You understand? Because they got you feeling like you can just go out here and eat all the pig in the world and not die of diabetes and heart failure and congestive heart disease.
Right.
And hypertension and all these other things that plague black people. You understand? It's black men all across America that drop dead at the age of 45. You understand? At the age of 30. You understand? We out here dropping dead. Am I lying, Mardaki?
Right, come.
There are black men dropping dead at the age of 40.
Come.
You understand? Because we want to believe that the Christian church is talking about what's been what they say they pull the scripture when they say it, but what's been clean, what the Lord has determined to be clean, let no man call unclean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you believe what your pastor say about that scripture,
right.
You eat it and then still die of congestive heart failure,
right.
and be sitting there clueless as to why.
Right.
Why me, Lord? I've been going to church every Sunday. I've been paying my tithes. Why, Lord? You understand? It's because you did not follow the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You understand? Because the Lord said if we don't follow his law, statutes, and commandments, we was going to be cursed. You understand? Now, here's the deal. I'm gonna show you something, right? I'm going to show you something. I want you to go to verse 45, Baba Shah.
Come, sir.
So he said that he was going to curse us. Now, even from a individual standpoint, we're about to talk about a nationwide standpoint. You understand? Because he's like one of the Most High is like a parent to black people. The same way we are with our children, that's the Most High. And I tell you what, I can remember times where our parents have walked in the room, caught two of us breaking stuff. One of us could have been doing nothing. Could have been in there reading the book. You understand? They walk up in there and you know what she say? All y'all getting the book. You understand? What y'all in here doing? All y'all getting the book. And you know what? All of us caught it too. Mm-hmm. You understand? You know, our oppressor, they don't even punish their kids. They tell their kids to go to timeout. He go to timeout and build a bomb. You understand? No TV, Billy. All right, no sweat. He going out back to shoot guns and play with rat poison, killing cats and dogs. You understand? So here's the deal: the Most High, when He cursed Israel, because we broke these commandments, we broke these laws. There was times back in our past with black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we turned our back on the Most High like traitorous bastards. You understand? And guess what? Guess who we turned out? What do we turn our back on the Most High for? Time after time. Right. These other nations. Right. You understand? These other nations, man. We chose the Most High said He was gonna give us rulership of the earth. You understand? Can you imagine that? Right. You understand? That's like saying, you know, we gonna make you high society. We gonna make you the elite. You understand? You know how you got the elite? They got so much money and power they don't even care about money. They got billions and billions and billions. You understand? They buying yachts the size of small apartment complexes. You understand? Flying into outer space. You understand? The Most High said He was going to give us that position in the earth. Right. You understand? But yet, instead of following that, we choose to follow something that the Most High created. And the thing that He created ain't even better than us. You understand? But we choose to follow after these other nations. You understand? And guess what? When we follow after these other nations, the Lord didn't choose those other nations. He didn't give His word to these other nations. He didn't give the wisdom and understanding and the secrets of the universe to these other nations. He gave them to us. You understand? We are the ones He gave it to. So if He gave it to us, what wisdom and understanding could we possibly get from these other nations? You understand? I tell you what, I'd be perfectly fine. And I believe every black man in America would say the same thing. I'd be perfectly fine if every one of our oppressors' restaurants shut down and black people all across the planet started cooking out their houses and selling plates. Right. We'd be straight. You understand? We'd probably be like, oh man, no more McChickens. Well, guess what? Keisha probably got some little chicken patties she put together that's healthier, better, and all that. Right. You understand? So here's the deal, right? We got cursed as a people for breaking the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Read that scripture when you got it. 28 and 45.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And shall pursue thee.
And shall what?
Pursue thee.
You understand? It says these curses was going to overcome us, and they shall pursue us. You understand? What does it mean to pursue? what does it mean to pursue? To pursue something means like to chase after it, to hunt it. You understand? That's what it means to pursue. It's like you're chasing, you're going after it. So we are being pursued by these curses, no matter where we go. Guess what? A lot of black people say, we move from up north to move down south. You understand? And guess what? They end up in some drama anyway. You understand? I tell you what, I had a cousin of mine when I was in the world. He got into a situation in his hometown. You understand? And brothers was trying to take his life. And he fled to another city. Moved to another city and lived with family. You understand? The family took him in, fed him, clothed him, you know what I mean, to give him a better shot, better chance to leave that life behind and do something with himself. And you know what happened? He still ended up getting killed.
Right.
You understand? He still ended up getting shot. Got shot twice in the head. You understand? Because guess what? These curses pursue us. You understand? It don't matter what city, what country we in the world. We can be in Rio de Janeiro. Guess what? We still cursed.
Right.
You understand? We could be in Italy. Guess what? We still curse. In fact, they looking at us like, what are you doing in my country? Who let you over here? Right. Who signed off on this at customs? You understand? It was times, I remember a buddy of mine, he was a rich brother that I knew in the world. He took his whole little entourage and they went over to where's the Eiffel Tower at? They went to the Eiffel Tower. I think it was Paris. They went to Paris, right? You know when Jay-Z made that song "Niggas in Paris"?
Right.
But these was niggas in Paris long before Jay-Z made "Niggas in Paris."
Right.
So that's why when Jay-Z made that song, I felt that. You understand? But these brothers went to Paris. You understand? They driving Ferraris and got wealth out there. Get to the Eiffel Tower, and they do not let them on the Eiffel Tower. And the reason why is because that particular day that they went, they wasn't letting black people on the Eiffel Tower. I was like, good night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people say racism don't exist. Go to the Eiffel Tower. You understand? Racism exists at the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
You understand? And here's the thing, right? No matter where we are in this world, them curses is going to pursue us. Go to Africa. My goodness. Man. Brothers did that after slavery. They established a country in Africa called Liberia. You understand? That country was originally it was kind of like how the United Nations gave the so-called Jewish man the land of Israel. They just said, all right, this part is yours. You understand? And they just came to town with guns and machine guns and rocket launchers. It was like, all right, y'all got to go. Y'all got to move. Y'all got to get up out of here. This is ours. You understand? And so that's kind of what happened with Liberia. So you still got Hamites living there, who was more specifically part of the army, one of the armies that they still fighting all the way up until now. You understand? But one of the armies that did a lot of fighting was that cat that the purple cats love so much, that General Butt Naked.
Right.
You understand? He was eating black people in Africa.
Good, nice.
You understand? Guess what? Them black people thought that we could go to Liberia and we'll be safe there. You understand? We found out the hard way that we are not the same. We are not the same as these crusty foot bastards out here in this jungle. You understand? So these curses pursue us anywhere we go. Read on.
Oh, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed.
You understand? It says, so these curses is going to follow after us until we be destroyed. You understand? Guess what? Black people, we are destroyed. We are destroyed. You can't tell me that we not. Go to any city jail anywhere in South Carolina, and I guarantee you're going to find out that day that black people are destroyed in America. You understand? Because I tell you what, we fill all of these jails. We fill them up. I done been to jail. I done been in there and seen not one oppressor in the building. You understand? But blacks and Hispanics. You understand? So these curses pursue us anywhere we go until we are destroyed. Read on.
Come. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
You understand? So this is why so many things happen to black people. This is why we are gunned down in the street. This is why we are addicted to crack. This is why our streets are filled with drugs and child molestation and kidnapping and murder and bloodshed and black on black violence. You understand? And adultery and homosexuality. This is why we are cursed with those things.
Right.
Read on.
To keep his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee.
Read on.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
All right, read that last scripture again.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
You understand? It says these curses is going to be upon us for a sign. You understand? What does that mean? What does that mean that these curses shall be upon us for a sign? Doc, you want to give it a shot?
Let's see. They shall be upon thee for a sign. Would this be saying as far as, because we're not as far as doing the will of the Most High, this is like a stamp for our wrongdoings?
No. I mean, what you mean, like when you say as far as a stamp for our wrongdoing?
Like as far as when a child does something wrong, or like you say, like a child, like you tell them to go, sweep the floor, and the child doesn't do it. When we was growing up, we rarely got whoopings, but like what will happen was, our parents will take something from us, like as far as not necessarily like a stamp, just taking something away for not listening to our parents.
Okay, no, not really. Anybody online? Yeah, oh, well. Mark, you check online and see.
There's nobody online.
Nobody.
It said Kazak said to show us who we are.
To show us who we are. I mean, that's partially it. I'll go ahead and explain. What does a sign do? Think about a street sign. The sign on the front of the Walmart. You understand? The sign at the gas station. You understand? The signs we put out to promote the cookout. Yeah, go ahead.
It alerts us.
Okay. It should. You understand? But, all right, I'll explain it like this. The sign would be on us, right? So keep in mind that one of the curses is that we was going to discontinue from our inheritance.
Right.
We was going to forget who we was. You understand? And we was going to, believe that we are something else. We're going to be called something completely different. You understand? As opposed to who we really are.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the so-called Jewish man calls himself a Jew. According to what? You understand? Because according to the Bible, these curses are going to be a sign for the children of Israel.
Right.
Meaning like a street sign. If you're looking for Walmart, you look for what? The Walmart sign, right?
Right.
If you're looking for the gas station, you look for what? The gas station sign. You understand? The sign that says gas station. The sign that says Walmart. The sign that says turn left.
Right.
You understand? The sign that for the street that you live on. It's an identifying marker for the children of Israel. That's how you're going to identify the children of Israel. You understand? So that's what it means when it says, and these curses is going to be on us for a sign. Meaning the way that you would identify the children of Israel is by what?
By that sign, as far as if they're following the law, statutes, and commandments.
Well, what is this? Okay, think about it. Think about the script. What the scripture says. Said, read it again.
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder and upon thy seed forever.
All right, so it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign. You see what I'm saying? So how would you identify the children of Israel? By the sign. And
Right.
what is the sign?
I just think about when it comes to that scriptures for the you will know them by the fruits of their labor.
Well, just keep it a little simpler, because the scripture tells you. It says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign. So they are the sign. What is the they? The curses.
Right.
Right.
I was about to say that. And then Kazakh Sapar said curses as well too.
Right. So y'all got it. So yeah, the curses. Those will be the sign to identify the children of Israel.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Verse 47.
Well, still at 46. After
verse-
upon thee for a sign.
Sir. Verse 46. And for a wonder and upon thy seed forever.
All right. So it says, and for a wonder. You understand? For a wonder, meaning that. Think about what it means to wonder. Like you wonder at something. Like when you watch Avengers, or when you watch Star Wars, or when you watch whatever movie that you like. You understand? You wonder at what you're watching. You're being amazed and entertained by it.
Right.
You understand? So you know how I think, who was it that made that song? I think T.I. made this song. He said, "My life is your entertainment." You understand? Because here's the thing. To our oppressors and to these other nations, they take our oppression and turn it into entertainment.
Right.
You understand? So these curses, slavery, think about slavery. How many slave movies have we seen?
Right.
You understand? How many movies have we seen about black people getting marching through civil rights, getting punched in the face and turning the other cheek? You understand? How many times have we seen that?
Right.
You understand? How many times have we seen you understand? Like even let's see. You heard about on a small note. You look at World Star Hip Hop. You see sisters beating each other half to death out in the street, all over World Star Hip Hop, with millions of views. You understand? Because and then not only that, but what's the devil's name? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman shot and killed Trayvon Martin.
Right.
And then laughed about it, joked about it, got found not guilty or something. He didn't get found guilty. And then he sold the gun on eBay for $250,000.
Right.
You understand? Nat Turner. You understand? Nat Turner stood up to fight against the oppression of black people. You understand? And they cut this man up into pieces and kept trophies of this man.
Right.
You understand? Kept his ears in a little jar at their little pawn shop, like something to be honored by. You understand? And so, the nations of this earth, they are amazed and entertained at our stories of our oppression.
Right.
You understand? And they're entertained by it. They watch movies about it. They laugh and they joke about it. You understand? Even now, and then too, some people look at it, what we've been through, And they try to think, and they're amazed at just at the fact that we made it through it. How are y'all still here? I'm amazed that y'all even went through all this and are still here. You understand? And then it says, and upon thy seed forever. And guess what? We've been oppressed for 500 years. You understand? We've been oppressed for 500 years for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, for turning our back on the Most High. You understand? And guess what, black people? Our backs are still against the Most High. Because our backs, because we choose to worship our oppressor and serve our oppressor. And we turn our back on our own people.
Right.
And turn our back on the Most High. You understand? Read on.
Come. Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
You understand? And guess what? Because we choose to be wicked and evil and do every evil thing we can think of, you understand? And we choose not to serve the Most High, guess what? Read on.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
You shall do what?
Serve thine enemies.
And keep in mind, these curses was going to be on us for a sign.
Right.
You understand? Meaning, and then here's the thing I want you to think about. What other nation of people is being oppressed by another people?
Right.
What other nation of people is getting gunned down by another nation and nothing is being done about it? What other people? Who else on the earth who else on the earth has to fight for their right to live? Mm-hmm. Who? Not the Chinese man. He good. He's straight, even though he dying over that coronavirus. Man, they got that whole. Man, that's an ugly situation right there. They said they got 160 million people quarantined.
Right.
Man, that's like straight out of a zombie movie, right?
Right.
You understand? That's straight out of a zombie movie, man.
Right.
You understand? You understand? And to come to think of it, right? So, just sidebar real quick. I was thinking about something the other day, right? When General Yohana was talking about, in class, when General Muhammad was talking about how the Romans surrounded Jerusalem and starved us to the point where we would eat our own children, right? You know what I was thinking about, man? I was thinking about, see, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of our oppressors buy a lot of guns, buy a lot of bullets, buy a lot of ammo for what they call a upcoming zombie apocalypse, right? Now, if you know our oppressor, you know they always speak in code whenever they say stuff.
Right.
Like when they up there on the news and they say these thugs and these criminals, you know they talking about black people.
Right.
You understand? When they talk about the rapists and murderers and gang members across the border, you know they talking about our brothers and sisters from South America. You understand? They speak in code. They don't sit there and be like, these Hispanics, these black people, they need to yada yada yada. They don't say that. You understand? Matter of fact, I think it was, what's that devil's name? Was it Breitbart? There was Richard Nixon's aide. Or am I tripping about the name? Richard Nixon's aide, Ehrlichman. Ehrlichman came out and said that one of the black people were an enemy to the United States government. You understand? I think it was Ehrlichman. Is Ehrlichman?
Yeah, concert.
Go ahead.
They say John Ehrlichman out of Washington.
Right. Do they have the article still? Can you find that article? Where he talks about the black people were an enemy to the government.
Anti-black war. Let's see if this one right here.
It was a war on black people.
Top Nixon advisor revealed the racism reason he started the war on drugs decades ago. Would that be something similar to it?
That's something similar to it, because the war on drugs was actually a war on black people. And they said that the government can't officially say this is a war on black people. You understand? Because they have to say it's a war on something else. So they said a war on drugs. You understand? Well, here's the thing: if you're fighting a war on drugs, where the drugs coming from?
Right.
How the drugs even getting in the country? You understand? Our oppressor is the one who even gets the drugs in the country.
Right.
You understand? But yet, we the ones going to prison for it. You understand? And guess what? You understand? We still, to this day, we serve our enemies here in America.
Right.
We serve them. Go down to Charleston if you don't believe me. In 2020, we still serving our oppressors. You understand? My first time ever going to Charleston, I was disgusted. I didn't even want to go. I went down there thinking it was going to be, I was in the world. I went down there to have fun. I get down there and it was no fun. Because when I got down there, I felt like somebody was gonna walk up to me and be like, you got your walking papers? You got your papers, sir. You know what I mean? I thought it looked like you don't want to get caught at night down there in Charleston. It looked like slavery down there, still to this day. Because all you see is our oppressors riding horseback and horse and buggy, you understand, through the city. You see them just walking around, sightseeing, and just spending money. It seems like all they do is in Charleston is spend money. But then you go in every restaurant. You go in every factory. You go in every mill. You're going to see blacks and Hispanics. Guess what? Picking up the trash, you're going to see blacks and Hispanics. Picking up the horse manure from all the horse and buggies riding around Charleston, you're going to see blacks and Hispanics. You understand? That's what you're going to see down there in Charleston. You understand? And guess what? We still to this day serve our oppressors. You understand? We serve our oppressor in the military, serve our oppressor in the police force. We serving our oppressor in prison, serving our oppressor at the city jail, county jail, at the child support office. You understand? We serving our oppressor. We serve our oppressor mainly in the Christian church. You understand? Because think about it, in the Christian church, you don't worship a black God. Because a black God would tell you that the black man is the greatest people on the face of this earth.
Right.
You understand? That's what a black God would do. You understand? But instead, you worship a white God. You understand? Who hates blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? And guess what? Your God is in the White House, Christian church. That's your God. You understand? That's why so many black Christian pastors stand behind this man, because the white man is their God. You understand? Think about it. They follow the same agenda. Because all the money they grow in the Christian church, they can buy every project building in the ghetto. You understand? Build them up, make them nice, clean the drugs out. They could do all of that with that money. But instead, you know what they do? They buy up the property and then sell it to investors who then gentrify the neighborhood, and they make millions off of it. You understand?
Right.
That's what's going on in the Christian church. That's why black people dying in the gutter while they right around the corner counting their money. Read on.
Come. Verse 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
And guess what? If you want to put food in your stomach, you have to serve your enemy.
Right.
You have to go to our oppressor and ask for a job just to be able to buy a cheeseburger. To buy a backpack of oodles and noodles, you need some money.
Right.
You need to serve somebody. Read on.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness, meaning what major black manufacturing company makes clothes?
Right.
Like Chanel amongst black people.
Right.
You understand? We should have looked at that as designer clothing. You understand? But instead, we go out here buying homosexual clothes from some rich devil who don't even want to see you in their clothes. who get offended by even seeing you wear it to one of your concerts while they kids at the concert. You understand? Read on.
And want of all things.
Skip down to verse 68.
Come. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Now keep in mind, these curses is how you was going to identify the children of Israel. And this is how you're going to identify the people that need to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And when they do, the Lord will crack that sky open for them.
Right.
You understand? You about to find out who the Lord loves and who the Lord hates. You understand? Read it. Read that scripture when you got it. That they did not. Because it's nowhere written in any Bible, in any history book, that the Jews went back into slavery in Egypt. You understand? So what does that mean? You understand? What does it mean? You understand? That the Lord said he was going to send us into Egypt again. You understand? Hold that. Go to Exodus 20 and 2, Baba Kashah. What does it mean when the Lord says he was going to bring us into Egypt again? You understand? Because at no point in history did they ever go back into Egypt. You understand? Read that scripture when you got it.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. He
brought us out of the land of what?
Egypt.
You understand? So the Lord brought us out of the land of Egypt. And he says in 68, Deuteronomy 28:68, that he was going to bring us into Egypt again. You understand? But read on.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of what?
The house of bondage.
So what is Egypt?
The house of bondage.
So Egypt is the house of bondage. You understand? Egypt is not a landmass.
Right. Because
that land that we was in was not called Egypt. It was called Mitzrayim or Matazarium in the Hebrew. Right. You understand? That's the truth about the Bible that people miss. They read the word Egypt and they think it's automatically talking about that. Right. When this scripture here tells you that Egypt means house of bondage. And the Lord, after he brought us out of slavery in Egypt, in Mitzrayim, in Kemet, or how they like to say, the Lord said he was going to bring us into slavery again, into bondage again. Go back to 28:68. And read it again from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
And this is an identifier. This is how you're going to be able to identify the children of Israel, by these curses. You understand? These curses are specific. Meaning that you got, if like what they say in the OJ case, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Right.
Right. You understand? If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Right.
You understand? So read that scripture again from the top up.
The book of Deuteronomy.
Read it slow.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
It says the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, into slavery again, into bondage again. You understand? But there's another detail about this bondage. How was they going to go into that bondage, Mardaki?
With ships.
With what?
Ships.
With what?
Ships.
Spell that word ships.
SHIPS.
You understand? The Lord said he was going to send us into slavery again with ships. You understand? That is an identifying marker. Keep in mind. That is an identifying marker on how you can identify the children of Israel. Now I'm going to make it real simple for you. Other than black people, I don't want to ask you a rhetorical question. I don't want to insult your intelligence. Other than black people, what other nation of people as a whole went into slavery on ships? Anybody in the chat got an answer for me? I need to know. I need to know. Enlighten me. Anybody in the chat know? How many other nations went into slavery on ships similar to black people? Aside from black people. Got any answers?
Not yet, sir.
You want to give it a shot?
None.
None. I knew my docket knew. No other nations of people went into slavery on ships.
Right.
So what does that mean? What does that mean for black people? That means that we are the ones who went into slavery on ships.
Right.
We are the ones. We are them. We are these people. Because guess what? It said it's going to be on you for a sign.
Right.
You understand? Meaning that's how you're going to identify the children of Israel. You understand? And guess what? That had to be written in that Bible. Why? Because one day we was going to live in a land where the entire world tells you that you're just a black nigger.
Right.
That you are nothing. That you deserve to die and be in poverty and be destroyed in the ghetto because all you do is smoke weed and kill each other.
Right.
And have babies and don't take care of them. You understand? That's what the world says about. That's what the world tells us that we are. You understand? But the Lord says that we are the greatest people on the face of this earth.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Come. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
It says what?
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You understand? That's talking about our homeland.
Right.
It says that the children of Israel was going to go into slavery on ships, and we was not going to see our homeland again.
Right.
Now let me ask you another question. What nation of people went into slavery on ships and has not gone back to their homeland?
Right.
Black people.
Right. Come.
Hispanic people, Native Indian people.
Right.
You understand? Because we are not in our homelands. We are being oppressed in a foreign land.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
We shall be what?
Sold unto your enemies.
So black people was taken in the transatlantic slave trade. We went into slavery on ships. We have not been back home. And when we got to this land, we were sold to our enemies. Not our friends, not our buddies, not our concubines, not our wives. We were sold to our enemies.
Right.
You understand? That's a key thing to always remember. We were sold to our enemies. You understand? Our oppressors are our enemies. How do you know this? I'm going to tell you how. A friend wouldn't hang you from a tree. You, your wife, and your kids. Right. You understand? Does that sound like a friend? That sounds like a mafia hit. You understand? A mafia don't hit their friends. They hit their enemies. You understand? We was not these people's friend. We are their enemy. And because we are their enemy, they are our enemy. You understand? Because they've done nothing but murder and oppress us for 500 years. You understand? Read on.
For bond men and bond women.
And we were sold for slave men and slave women. Right here in America. We was the first stock sold on the stock market. The stock market was built on slavery.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
And no man shall buy you.
You understand? It says that no man shall buy you. That word buy, that's an old Quaker English word. You understand? When the King James Version Bible was translated originally in 1611, it was translated into what's known today as Quaker English.
Right.
You understand? And the word buy is an old Quaker English word. And it means to redeem. You understand? It says that no man shall redeem you. Now keep in mind, I keep going back to it because I don't want you to forget this. But these curses was going to be on us for a sign. Now think about black people's time in America. And I want you to tell me what black person, I say person because there's been women who's tried it too, but what black person was able to successfully rise up and deliver black people out of oppression in America? What black person did it? Did Harriet Tubman free black people? No. Did Nat Turner free black people? No. Did Denmark Vesey free black people? Did Marcus Garvey free black people? What about Martin Luther King? What, Malcolm X? Cornel X?
Right.
You understand? Brother Polite?
No.
Not one. You understand? Because only the Most High is going to deliver us out of this oppression. Because why? Because only the Most High put us in this oppression. He put us in this oppression because we broke God's laws. Now think about that. We are cursed when we break God's laws. We are blessed when we keep God's laws. You understand? So here's the deal. If we are a people who, if we are righteous, we become rich, powerful, mighty, strong. You understand? If we are righteous, we become that.
Right.
And what do you think happens when we become wicked? We become what we are today. We become destroyed in America. We become destroyed in any country that we live in. We become destroyed in the UK. We become destroyed in Europe and Asia and even there's brothers and sisters somewhere in Africa. You understand? I'm pretty sure Dennis Rodman probably done got a few of them Hamites pregnant out there.
Right.
You understand? I'm sure somebody done slipped off and, you know what I mean, and messed around. You understand? There's plenty of brothers and sisters that went over there after slavery. You understand? So we are oppressed in every nation in the world. We are oppressed. You understand? And the reason why we are oppressed is because we don't keep the Lord's commandments. You understand? So here's the deal. If somebody wants to rule over you, what do they have to do? If you are people who, if you keep God's laws, you rule the earth. But if you break God's laws, you go into slavery. If somebody wants to rule over you, what do they have to do? What do they have to do? What do they have to do? Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody got an answer for me?
You got an answer.
Go ahead.
Kazak Shapar said the commandments to help you break the commandments, the law and commandments.
Right. He's spot on with it. You understand? That is absolutely correct. You understand? So here's the deal. I'm looking for. There's a quote by Margaret Sanger. Let me see if it's on here. There's a quote by Margaret Sanger. Let me see. right, so here's the deal, right? They had to get us to break the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only way you can rule over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You got to somehow convince them to sin against the Lord. If you get them to do that, they all yours. They like what's the term? They like putty in your hands.
Right.
They all yours. You can do with them as you please. All you got to do is convince them to turn their back on the Lord. You understand? So here's the deal, right? I'm gonna show you proof of that. There's a quote, right, by Margaret Sanger. This is a direct quote, and I'm gonna read it. I tried to find an article, but I've got it printed out somewhere. But here's the quote. This is when she was trying to push abortion amongst black people. Mm-hmm. You understand? So let me ask you a question. Black abortion, that's a sin against the Most High, right? That's murder. That's thou shalt not kill, right?
Right.
You understand? So Margaret Sanger is trying to figure out a way. How do we convince black people to kill their babies? How do we do that? How do we convince black people to eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster? How do we convince black people that it's okay to date white women?
Right.
How do we convince black people that it's okay to be a drug dealer? You understand? How do you convince black people that it's okay to be a homosexual? How do we do that? You understand? I'm going to show you something real keen that Margaret Sanger figured out about black people. And I'm going to tell you something. This is not a secret amongst all the nations of the earth. Here's the quote. It says, the most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. You understand? So our religious institutions were used by Margaret Sanger. And here's the thing. Look up everybody's favorite I almost said superhero. Look up everybody's favorite civil rights leader. like the news announcer said it correct when he said it that day. Martin Luther King. And that devil was right that day. You understand? Martin Luther King Jr. You understand? He won the Margaret Sanger Award. You understand? He won the Margaret Sanger Award when Margaret Sanger's goal was to exterminate black people.
Right.
You understand? Martin Luther King was a champion for the extermination of black people. He was a champion. Got a trophy for it. Am I lying, Mardaki? Martin Luther King got a trophy for being a champion for black extermination. You understand? Just Google it.
Right.
You got the Google on your phone. You understand? I just recently started Googling everything. I still, it took me a long time to get used to it. Here I am Googling, and I'm typing Google. Just type in MLK, Margaret Sanger. I'm Googling it with you. Award. And let's see what pops up. How about that? The award in human rights was presented to Martin Luther King, who was unable to attend due to pressing business concerning his Chicago movement. His wife, Coretta Scott King, received the award in his place. And if you read that award speech, that is the most vile and disgusting thing I've ever. When Commander Junior Hunter read it on the grill a couple years ago, and I told Commander Junior Hunter about it. I emailed Commander Junior Hunter and said, Salakia, General. Ever since that Martin Luther King class, I've been sick to my stomach since that night.
Right.
And I was literally nauseous and sick. You know how people say I'm sick? Like they see something or hear something wrong or messed up, they be like, I'm sick. Man, I was sick. I thought I had a bug, and it just hit me immediately. Once Commander Junior Hunter broke down everything, I was sick.
Right.
I didn't eat. I didn't want to eat. I was flabbergasted. Because all my life being a Christian, I'm looking at Martin Luther King like, man, I hope to one day be like you, but today I'm about to knock this cracker head off. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the deal, right? All my life, Martin Luther King was somebody who me, myself, and every other black person in America looked up to. And he tell you out his own mouth how happy he is to sell black people to the slaughterhouse.
Right.
You understand? How happy he is to be honored for his work in leading black people to the slaughterhouse. I mean, you got to read the speech. Because he it's so disgusting. He say, finally, they realize that we are willing to pay to kill our babies to avoid, as a substitute for poverty.
Right.
Abortion is a substitute for poverty. And here's the thing that blows my mind. Even after you abort the baby, are you now rich? Do you now have a 401k? You understand? Is the bills getting paid? Now, are you not smoking crack anymore now that you had that abortion? You understand? Abortion, Martin Luther King said abortion was the solution to black oppression, to black poverty. He said that it was a solution to poverty. We didn't got to worry about the poverty of black people. We can just kill our babies. You understand? We just have C-sections and get our tubes clipped. What they call it? Balls clipped. I'm trying to think of the right. Term, but I'm saying it all wrong.
I'm trying to think about what they call it. It's not a vasectomy.
I don't know. Well, mastectomy, vasectomy, when you get your stuff clipped. You understand? When you get the tube snipped in the bag, that's what the goal of Planned Parenthood is to make every black man, black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman, Native Indian man, Native Indian woman, to make you sterile and kill all your babies.
Right.
That is the plan. That is the plan. You understand? And they do so many things. They put so many things out there for you to almost make the decision easy, make it like you gotta do it. I know it's a lot of brothers that as soon as they girl say, I'm pregnant, they be like, we killing it. We having an abortion. You understand? And guess what? The main reason why that brother says that is child support.
Right.
Every black man fears child support. This brothers are afraid of that monster right there. Afraid of it. You understand? Would rather have an abortion than risk you putting them on child support. You understand?
Right.
And that's facts. Those are conversations that happen. You understand? And a lot of people probably watching today know it for a fact. Probably has had it said to them, or probably said it to someone else. You understand? So here's the deal. How did black people end up getting down with abortion? Through our religious leaders. Martin Luther King and everything down from Martin Luther King. Trickled on down. Eddie Long, John Gray, whatever your pastor's name is, him. That man. You understand? And guess what? Remember what I said. If we keep God's laws, we gonna rule the earth. But if we break God's laws, we're going to continue to be destroyed.
Right.
And here's the thing. Margaret Sanger wants black people destroyed. She wants us destroyed. She wants us wiped out. She wanted us wiped off the face of the planet. You understand? And who helped convince black people to do it? Martin Luther King.
Right.
You understand? Martin Luther King. Or as Captain Tazariot like to call him, Orgy Mike. Orgy Mike. You understand? Oh, Orgy Mike. You understand? And guess what? He's no different than every other Christian pastor. You understand? He's no different. And what that should show you is that their agenda, our oppressor's agenda, is carried out by our religious leaders. That is how we become destroyed. You understand? So when our religious leaders, their job has never been to deliver black people, even during slavery. Am I lying, Mardaki? During slavery, think about Nat Turner. Go watch the movie Birth of a Nation.
Right.
You understand? Go watch that movie. You know what I mean? Now, of course, that movie ain't all the way 100% facts, but go watch the movie and you'll see what I mean when I say this. But Nat Turner, that movie, Nat Turner was a pastor, and his slave master used to get paid money to bring Nat Turner to the plantation so that Nat Turner could calm down all the slaves who was in an uproar about their cousin getting hung.
Right.
You understand? For nothing. You understand? For sneezing, he got hung. And they in an uproar because they feel like it was unjust. But they were sending Nat Turner to calm everybody down and make sure that they love their slave master and do what the slave master say, because they don't want to make the Lord upset. You understand? The preacher man was like, God wants you to worship the white man. God wants you to serve these oppressors. God wants us to obey our masters. You understand? And that right there has continued all the way down to 2020. You understand? And guess what? They also tell you that you don't have to keep the laws of God. Which means what? Means they understand, our oppressors understand, that if we continue to sin against the Lord, if we believe in our mind that it's okay, like Boosie, little Boosie. I used to like little Boosie until he did that. You seen that, Mardaki?
Oh yeah.
I seen it, man. I seen it. And I seen it and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. This brother here went from making a song called Devil Get Up Off Me.
Right.
You understand? To sticking a middle finger at the Most High.
Right.
You understand? Talking about because he hungry. You understand? That's the same thing Esau said. Esau threw away his whole inheritance because he was hungry. You understand? Well, guess what? Black people, we threw away our inheritance because we want to eat pork. Because we want to eat shrimp. We want to eat crab. We want to eat lobster. You understand? We want to. And here's a heavy part. I remember I wasn't even a trooper in the school yet, and I just started taking classes. You know, I'm eating baconators. You know what I'm saying? You know, shrimp with the extra shrimp sauce.
Yeah,
You understand? I'm punishing eating the sushi with the shrimp on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Going ballistic. You understand? Like ain't nothing changed but the beard on my face. And I'm going to classes. And then one day General Muhammad came on. This was really my first time seeing General Muhammad class. And I felt like he was talking to me the whole class. I felt like he was talking to me directly. He was talking through the screen. What he was talking about, it had nothing to do with nobody but me.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there listening to the class. And General Muhammad was saying, he was like, you want to keep eating pork? No sweat out. Oh, you want to keep eating shrimp? No sweat.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead and do it. You understand? Do it until you drop dead of a goddamn heart attack. Right. And I was like, damn.
Right.
And you know what's crazy? The next day, I went to the doctor. I had a doctor's appointment, but I went to the doctor the next day. And you know, I'm in the doctor's office, completely forgot about what General Muhammad said. Completely, you know, that it wasn't even on my mind no more.
Right.
And then that doctor took my blood pressure. He was like, he said, when's the last time you I can't remember what he said. He's like, when's the last time you had a checkup? I was like, oh, it's been a while. He says, and he kept on listening to my heart, listen to my back. And then he was like, listen, you got to do something about this blood pressure. He said, you are bordering the lines of hypertension right now. Like, we got. He was like, I'm tempted to admit you to the hospital right now. You understand? But this blood pressure got to get under control. I was like, oh yeah? He said, yeah. He said, last thing I want is to see you drop dead from a stroke. I was like, damn.
Right.
You understand? And you know what? That day, I stopped eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. I cut it all off. That day, the Lord scared scared that demon right up out of me.
Right.
And you know what? A week later, I went back to that same doctor, and my blood pressure had normalized. I went from being at risk of dropping dead from a stroke.
Right.
You understand? To normal blood pressure. And the only thing I changed was I stopped eating the things that the Lord said not to eat. You understand? And here's the thing. It's Margaret Sanger, guess what? She wants you to drop dead from a stroke.
Right.
You understand? The Ku Klux Klan, they want you to drop dead from a heart attack. You understand? And guess what? Guess how they gonna convince you to do it? Through our religious leaders.
Right.
You understand? Through a religious appeal. You understand? And guess what's gonna happen? By us eating the pork and aborting our babies and being homosexuals and smoking weed and selling drugs and sleeping with prostitutes and sleeping with our brothers' wives, all of those things, by us doing that, we are going to continue to be destroyed. We're going to continue to be oppressed. We're going to continue to sit back and complain about what the oppressor has done to us this time.
Right.
You understand? Instead of putting an end to it, by putting an end to committing those acts. You understand? And so here's the proof, right? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna be real quick with this proof. You understand? I'm gonna prove to you that your Christian pastor is a liar. You understand? He is a liar. He does not know the Bible.
Right.
You understand? And he doesn't even know that the person he believes is God in the flesh tells you out his own mouth that the God's laws ain't done away with.
Right.
You understand? They whole stasis of belief is that Yahushua died on the cross so that we can eat pork.
Right.
You understand? That's like, what, he gave us a permission to be evil and not get punished for it? A get out of jail free card?
Right.
Come on now. That don't even make sense. Would you do that with your kids? Would you do that with your children? Would you go to your 10-year-old son, like, you know what, son? You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to go out here and you want to inject yourself with heroin, by all means, son. You're going to always be my son. I'm going to love you and I'm going to support you regardless. And what's going to happen is you're going to support your son right into the grave.
Right.
And then you're going to get charged for it. You understand? That's what's going to happen, man. So what makes you think the Most High is going to operate like that? If you yourself would not operate like that with your children. You understand? You wouldn't do that. So it'd be foolish to think the Most High would do that. Give me Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Now, we read for you out of the Old Testament. You understand? All that stuff was Old Testament, right, Mordecai? That was old stuff. That was the Old Testament. That ain't got nothing to do with the New Testament. You understand? What Moses said ain't got nothing to do with what Christ said. You know, I'm trying to talk like a pastor. You know how them pastors talk. they just hilarious just to hear them talk sometimes. You understand? And so here's the deal, right? Give me Matthew chapter 5, verse 17.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law.
Hold on. He said what?
Think not that I come to destroy the law.
Guess what? A lot of people in the Christian church think that Christ destroyed the law. You understand? But what does Christ say out his own mouth?
Think not.
He said, think not. Think not that he came to destroy the law. You understand? Think not means don't even put it in your mind. That's not even a thought that you should have. You understand? Did away with the law. What? he like did away with the law. Yahushua basically saying you got him effed up. Don't go around saying that. You understand? Read on.
Think not that I come to think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Or the what?
Or the prophets.
Or the prophets, man. Moses was a prophet. You understand? Moses was a prophet. He wrote down prophecies that got fulfilled 4,000 years later. You understand? Read on.
I am come not to destroy, but to fulfill.
So the Yahushua said he did not come to destroy the law. You understand? He came to fulfill the law. You understand? He didn't come to destroy nothing that was laid down in the Old Testament. He didn't come to do away with the law. How he gonna do away with the law? When the law is what's gonna deliver blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Read on.
Come. Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass.
Till what?
Till heaven and earth pass.
It says till heaven and earth pass. Read on.
One jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
It says until heaven and earth pass, not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. You understand? Not one jot, not one comma, not one exclamation point, not one parenthesis. You understand? Not one letter. You understand? Shall in no wise pass from the law. Now let me ask you a question: is heaven and is earth still standing? Are we still on earth or are we on Mars? Are we still on earth? Is earth still here or are we in the matrix? You understand? The earth is still standing. It's still right here. We own it. We can go dig a hole in the earth right now. You understand? We are still living on earth. And the scriptures say till heaven and earth pass. Are the stars still in the sky, Mardaki? I mean, I hadn't looked in a while. You know, I might have missed them. Are the stars still in? Is the sun still there? What about the moon, Mardaki? You understand? I mean, Mardaki say that the moon and the earth and all the stars are still in the sky.
Right.
You understand? So heaven and earth has not passed. So therefore, not one jot or one tittle shall pass from the law. You understand? Read on.
Shall in no wise pass from the law, to all be fulfilled.
It says till all be fulfilled. Now let me ask you this. Has Yahushua came back?
Sir.
Has the kingdom of heaven existed on the earth longer than 1,000 years? You understand? Has black people been ruling on the earth, over the earth for the past like 20,000 years? I don't think so. I didn't think so. You understand? And even then, that kingdom was going to last forever.
Right.
You understand? So here's the deal. The law ain't done away with.
Right.
It is not done away with. Not one jot or one tittle. Read on.
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
Shall break one of the what?
Least commandments.
You understand? Guess what? Eating that piece of bacon might be some light.
Right.
You understand? But guess what? You eating that piece of bacon. This scripture talking about you.
Right.
Read it again from the top.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
That even whosoever shall eat that little piece of bacon. Go ahead.
Shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now let me ask you a question. In the UPK, we teach you to keep the laws, right?
Right.
You understand? We keep the laws in the ISUPK. You understand? The Christian church, do they keep the law in the Christian church? And do they teach people not to keep the laws? They teach you that it's okay to eat pork.
Right.
They teach you that it's okay to be a homosexual. They teach you that it's okay to break God's laws. They teach you that God's laws are that's the Old Testament. We in the New Testament. All we got to do is love, love, love. That's all you got to do in the New Testament, according to the Christian church. You understand? But we read in the New Testament.
Right.
Is this not the New Testament? What book are we in?
The New Testament, the book of Matthew.
We in the New Testament, talking about the law, talking about talking about keep the law. And it says, whosoever shall break one of these commandments and teach men so, read on.
He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
He shall be called what?
The least in the kingdom of heaven.
Your Christian pastor is what?
The least in the kingdom of heaven.
Your Muslim imam is what?
The least in the kingdom of heaven.
Bishop, Dr. Khan, artist on the pulpit is what?
The least in the kingdom of heaven.
The usher at the front of the church is the what?
The least of the kingdom of heaven.
The first lady at the church is what?
The least in the kingdom of heaven.
You understand? These Christian pastors are going to be the least in the kingdom of heaven. Read on.
But whosoever shall do and teach them.
So whosoever shall do and teach them, you understand? Shall be what?
The same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
It says the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? Guess what? By this scripture here, you should already know that heaven ain't a place you go when you die.
Right.
You understand? Heaven is a place that is going to be beautiful and marvelous and right here on this earth.
Right.
Where it's going to be fried chicken spots all throughout the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
You understand? It's going to be black rulership all throughout the kingdom of heaven. Hispanic rulership all throughout the kingdom of heaven. Native Indian rulership throughout all throughout the kingdom of heaven. You understand? And the ones of us that do the law, that keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and teach the law, statutes, and commandments, we shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? And guess what? The ones who teach the law and keep the law in this kingdom are called, what they call us? Hate groups. They call us hate groups. They call us hate groups. You understand? And guess what? We are least in the oppressor's kingdom. You understand? They work overtime to stop us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You understand?
Right.
They working overtime to shut us down. But you know what? We keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We keep the law, statutes, and commandments so well that we keep our oppressors' laws.
Right.
You understand? We don't even break their laws. You understand? They want to call us a hate group, but yet we haven't committed murder. We haven't even assaulted anybody.
Right.
You understand? But yet the LAPD busting brothers and sisters across the head every day. The NYPD is falsely. Matter of fact, the IUIC is falsely arresting brothers.
Right.
You understand? You understand? So, whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be great in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? So, I mean, I guess we got to boil down to this. What do you want to be? Do you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven? Or do you want to be least in the kingdom of heaven?
Right.
You understand? So, let's see here. Had a lot more scriptures I was going to want to bring out. Give me Isaiah chapter 9 verse 16. Matter of fact, go ahead, give me that Isaiah 9 and 16.
It It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err.
You understand? For the leaders of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they cause us to err. They cause us to err. What does that mean? That means that they cause us to turn from the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You understand? The leaders have caused us to do that. You understand? And I showed you about Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger said that if you want to get black folk to turn from the Lord, you got to do it from a religious appeal.
Right.
It got to be the Christian pastor to do it. He the only one that can convince them. You understand? So here's the deal. The leaders of our people, they caused us to be destroyed.
Right.
Because here's the deal. If Martin Luther King was teaching what we teaching in UPK, guess what? We'd probably be in the kingdom of heaven by now.
Right.
You understand? We'd probably be in the kingdom. If every Christian pastor taught what we teach in the UPK, it would be the kingdom of heaven. Black people would rule everything and oversee everything and be rich and powerful and mighty and strong, and no nation would ever try us again. You understand? But instead, we follow the leader that loved white women.
Right.
You understand? And guess what? His wife knew it. And his wife kept it a secret. And guess what? How's that any different from John Gray's wife?
Right.
John Gray's wife found out his husband was sleeping with 13-year-old girls.
Right.
Got her pregnant. And guess what she did? She followed what she did, the same thing Coretta Scott King did.
Right.
She kept it a secret. You understand? She kept it a secret. And guess what? John Gray bought his wife a Lamborghini for keeping them secrets.
Right.
Bought that Lamborghini, and now the church halfway shut down. You understand? Read on.
And they that are led of them are destroyed.
And what?
And they that are led of them are destroyed.
It says, and they that are led by them are destroyed. You understand? Martin Luther King he is the prime example of the point that I'm trying to make. He is the cornerstone of what I'm talking about. Martin Luther King, he was the champion for abortion, for the annihilation of black people. He was the champion in convincing us to kill our babies. Just like how your Christian pastor is the champion for making sure that you dying of every disease known to man. The Christian pastor is the one that is making sure. Think about it. The Christian pastor. He's the reason why your husband died of what they call it, of cardiac arrest. He's the reason why we dying from eating pork chops.
Right.
Why we dying of HIV. Why we're dying of drug overdoses. Your Christian pastor is the one that tells you it's okay. It's okay. Jesus still loves you. You understand? Meanwhile, you dying. And it's hard to listen. I used to blow my mind in the world. Like, on how brothers could be under the worst possible conditions known to man. What I mean by that is, think about it like this. Think about an innocent child on death row. You understand? An innocent child on death row. You have no way out. And you praying to this Jesus, this white Jesus. You get visits from a preacher, listening to what the preacher's saying, telling you God still loves you. Meanwhile, you about to go get a needle in your arm that's going to put your lights out forever. You understand? And you sitting there listening to somebody tell you that God still loves you. God loves everybody. You understand? It used to blow my mind. You understand how people can... I've never been in a situation like that. You understand? And I couldn't imagine. You understand? The mental trauma that you could be dealing with, and turn to a pastor thinking you're going to get an answer.
Right.
You understand? When the whole reason you there is listening to him. The whole reason you there. Because the Bible tells us to separate. These Christian pastors was trying to get us to integrate.
Right.
And we integrate. They were successful. They convinced us that it's better. We should be able to spend our money at the white store. We shouldn't be forced to spend money at the black store. And guess what? We went and spent all our money at the white store. And to the point where all the black stores shut down. You understand? So here's the deal, right? Our Christian pastors lied to us.
Right.
They are lying to us. The solution for black oppression is very simple. Coming to the ISUPK.
Right.
That's the solution for black oppression. That is the solution. You understand? Here's the thing. The longer you stay in these Christian pastors, these Christian churches, the longer you stay in these fake Israelite groups, the longer we're going to continue to be oppressed. You understand? The ISUPK is the home of the truth.
Right.
You understand? This is the home of the truth. This is where it all started at. You understand? And this year we having the 51st annual Passover.
Right.
You understand? The 51st annual Passover. And Commander Junior Hanna is inviting all of the camps.
Right.
All of the Israelite groups. If you in the IUIC, come to the Passover.
Right.
If you in GMS, come to the Passover. If you in FOPE, come to the Passover.
Right.
You understand? If you in GOCC,
Right.
we might have to ask you a couple questions. After you get through them questions, come to the Passover.
Right.
You understand? Because here's the deal, man. We ain't about division amongst Israel. A lot of people like to ask the question like, when is Israel gonna come together? When is we gonna stop having so much division?
Right.
Well, here's the deal. At one point in time, there was no division.
Right.
There was ISUPK.
Right.
And guess what? 2020, there's ISUPK.
Right.
Which means what? Brothers left the ISUPK.
Right.
Brothers left the body of Yahushua.
Right.
Brothers left the truth. You understand? And here we are, man. It's close to the end. It's close to the end. You understand? What you gonna do? You gonna continue to trust in your pastor at the head of your so-called Israelite organization? Or you gonna come into the truth, man? You understand? You gonna come into the truth and learn these laws, statutes, and commandments. I see brothers bend the rules and be having their whole beard shaped up. Be having it all trimmed up, lined up with the dreadlocks shaped up. You understand? Looking like a brother in the world ready to go to the club.
Right.
You understand? Coming to the truth, Hawk.
Right.
You understand? Shed yourself for this world, man. The Lord chose us and only us. The Lord didn't choose the African man. He didn't choose our oppressor. He didn't choose the Chinese man. You understand? He didn't choose them. And that's okay. That's all right. Because here's the deal. Them Africans, they sold us. They profited off of our slavery. They made a direct profit from our oppression. They got rich off of our slavery. You understand? The Arab man, he got rich off of our slavery. Our oppressor, forget about it. We can look at the money. The money. The fact that we spending his money with his face on it. You understand? We ain't even gotta ask that question.
Right.
You understand? We need to come out of all these organizations that's teaching us to join these other nations. I can't imagine going to the Passover out and seeing a so-called Jewish man.
Right.
I'd probably vomit if I seen that. You understand? I would know that day that this is not the truth. I am not in the truth. Once I see that bastard, I am not in the truth.
Right.
You understand? That's what you should do. When you see these heathens in these groups, you see these Hamites smelling like doo-doo, eating foo-foo,
Right.
eating with their hands, wearing sandals to camp, with their feet looking ashy.
Right.
You understand? You should look at all that and just think to yourself, I'm not in the truth.
Right. Come.
You understand? Go ahead.
And if I could, I mean, like you have other fake Israelite groups dressed like they going to the club. Be wearing Jordans, be wearing, you know, foam posit, Nikes, Timbs. I'll be like,
Hey.
man, like how can you take this person serious?
Hey, I've seen it. I seen it. I remember when I was going to camp in Atlanta. GMS used to set up down the block.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we used to come out there with our speaker blazing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, blazing. We see them GMS brothers walking up. That was the first time I've ever seen what I call skinny sweatpants.
Good.
You ever seen skinny? You know what I'm talking about when I say skinny sweatpants? Like you got the skinny jeans,
Mm-hmm.
then you got the skinny sweatpants.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that's the correct term for them, but they're the pants they baggy up at the top part, but then when they get to the bottom leg part, they real tight.
Right.
And then right up under that was some Jordans. I'm like, this brother came to war out
Right.
with
Right.
some skinny pants on
Right.
and some J's. Like, what you gonna do? Go hoop if it goes down? You gonna do a crossover?
Right.
You understand? Meanwhile, the UPK is wearing boots, braids, and beards and looking like soldiers out.
Right.
You understand? That's how you know when you are in the truth. The Lord said He was coming to build an army. And when you see the ISUPK, you're not looking at no Bible study group.
Right.
You understand? You're not looking at no Christian pastors. You are looking at the army of the Most High that are willing to die for the Most High. You understand? That's what you're looking at. You understand? With that, I'm going to pass the class over to Precinct Officer Mark.
ISUBK security announcements. We are the ISUBK, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. We can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verses 21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you gives to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, we have Purim. That's on the 14th date and the 15th date of the 12th month. And that's on Saturday, March 7th and Sunday, March 8th. You can find this in Esther chapter 9, verses 20 through 31. Remind Akim and Akwat to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, shalom.